Okay, I have to get something off of my chest because I think it is something that moms need to address. And here it goes. I want to talk very quickly about weird breastfeeding elitism. Okay, so I was on this message board, on this, I guess, like secret message board on Facebook, and there was a mom who had made a post that said, like, oh my God, like, how do you survive when your child is biting you during breastfeeding? And if you have not been through that, I mean, it doesn't sound pleasant at all. And I don't think I really need to give descriptives of something or someone biting you, but it's not pleasant. Your nipples are already sensitive just because of hormones, because they're being stimulated and not in a good way. I mean, not in a fun way, I guess I should say, but yeah, and they're cracked, and then they're just like, they're just overstimulated, and it just like, it's not fun. So my response was, I was like, I actually didn't survive the biting. I actually chose to stop right around when my daughter was like 5 months old because my supply was low, and then the biting just was like the nail in the coffin. I was like, I'm having to like feed her more, and I don't feel like she's necessarily being fully satisfied with her feeding. So with that, I was like, breastfeeding is actually kind of like stressing me out a lot because I don't feel like my supply is not keeping up with her demand. I didn't say all this in this update. All I said was, like, I personally did not survive the biting. I chose to stop. But this is my history behind it. Like, it's just, yeah, I just didn't want to subject my body to that anymore, especially when I didn't have to. So I actually started her, well, not on solids at that point. She was 5 months, but I started her on formula, and I actually I felt better about it. I felt less stressed. I didn't feel like this pressure to, like, produce milk when you really, like, you can control it only so much. Like, I don't care what people say. Like, your body is only going to produce what it's going to produce. And no amount of drinking water or, oatmeal or whatever supplements, like, it will help, but it's not going to, like, I think at a certain point it just doesn't boost it. So that's my experience. Anyway, so then, like, this other mom was like, okay, she asked me questions initially that was like, like, why do you think that your supply was low? And I said, when I pump, it was decreasing in ounces. I mean, it was going from like 4 to 3 to 2 slowly over the couple of weeks, no matter what I did. So there's that. And then I was like, and I just didn't feel like my daughter was getting what she needed. Like, I felt like after I would feed her, like, literally, like, I don't know, 30 minutes or an hour later, she would be kind of like restless and, like, showing those signs that, like, a child is hungry. So then she was like, was like, well, what you pump is not necessarily, that's not indicative that your child's not getting what they need. And I was like, okay. And she's like, I just think that, like, we should keep this message more positive. Now, I never told this mom to stop breastfeeding. I never told her that she couldn't do it. I never said any of those things. All I said was that I chose to opt out. And this is the reason why I chose to say that, because I was like, I think as women, moms, you bend over backwards all the time. You literally give your body for your children. If you feel like you can't take a child nipping at your titty for like 5 years or whatever, then that is okay. That is okay to pull the plug. Like, your child is not going to be without if you choose to feed them another way. And I hate this, like, mentality of, like, oh, like, I exclusively breastfeed, like, I should put up with this, like, ridiculous amount of pain just so my child can be breastfeed, so I can say they can be breastfeed till they're like 3 years old. And I'm just like, that was the kind of vibe that I was getting, or it was just, like, not necessarily from her, but it was just like, I don't understand, like, why my statement was wrong. Like, I wasn't discouraging her. I didn't say stop breastfeeding or you can't do it. I just simply said I couldn't take it, and I was trying to get the message out there that, again, if your nipples are so sore and raw that you don't feel like you can do this anymore, like it's okay. Like I have had some guilt when that happened. I had guilt around my stop breastfeeding. I did, and I mean I still continue to not breastfeed her to that point. But then I was thinking about like, why do I have this guilt? Like why do I mean like I'm not denying her any like we're still bonding, like I'm still with her 24 hours a day, like I'm with her all the time. So I didn't know why, and I feel like a part of that is like societal pressure, like, oh, we just need to like exclusively breastfeed, breast is best. Like yes, that's true, but I mean if you can't take it, if you physically cannot take it, I don't think there's a damn thing wrong with saying I'm gonna call it quits on this. Especially if you're still you know, giving your child formula, or like have other like I don't know, like I don't know, that kind of that like I guess that like attitude kind of like pissed me off, as if it's like I can't present another point of view. Like I have to say, oh okay, like even though you know you just said that your nipples and this biting is excruciating, which it is, go ahead and just tough it out. Like put some lanolin, whatever that stuff is you rub on your nipples to kind of like ease it, just slather that on there, and you know, put some cucumber leaves, or I don't know what it is, just all these things, but like go ahead, just continue to like endure. And I hate that message. So yeah, so I don't like, I didn't want to get into a war with this person because I don't know them and I don't care, but I just was like, I still felt a way about it. Like I don't like this elitism of like, oh well, you're just like such an amazing mother if you only choose, if you want to breastfeed till they're 5 years old. Like I know like everybody has different opinions on this, but for me, I decided, even before I decided to wean her, I was like, as soon as she starts cutting teeth, like it's a wrap, because I just don't want to have someone biting. Like when a baby bites on your nipple with gums, it's already painful. So I can't imagine what that's like with teeth. So that's what I chose to do. And so I don't know, like I was like thinking about it, and I was like, should I apologize? And I just was like, I'm not apologizing. And I don't think this was I hope that wasn't a pride thing. And I was, like I said, my intention was not to make that mom feel bad. My intention was to say, if you want to call it quits, it's okay. Like you still love your child, you're still gonna be with your child, you will love them forever. So I don't know, I was like, yeah, I'm just tired of apologizing for just expressing another point of view. Sorry, I thought I heard my daughter. I hope she's not waking up. It just took me such a long time to get her to sleep. I just want to eat. But anyways, so yeah, I just had to get that off my chest. I just wonder if anybody else has had like similar interactions with like these elitist mommies. And then I mean like another, so like a friend and I were talking about this, like how basically what happens the first couple, there was an article, it's the first couple of days, this woman, her milk had not come in, she just had a baby, her milk had not come in yet. And so I don't know how many days it ended up being, but the baby was just like screaming, crying, like inconsolable. And she still stuck to this, like, I'm only gonna give this baby breast milk, like I'm only gonna feed them. And you know, at the time she was like, you know, hindsight is always 20/20. What ended up happening was that the baby was hungry and the baby got dehydrated and the baby ended up like passing away. And that's the worst thing any mother would want to happen to their child. But it's one of those cautionary tales where I'm like, I don't feel like breast should only be the only option. I don't feel like, I'm not saying, you know, and I know it's a personal choice for every woman. Like some women don't want to breastfeed at all. They're like, I'm not doing that. And then they get formula, and I'm sure their children are fine. Then you have women who have only breastfed, and I'm sure their children are fine. And then there are women who, like me, who I breastfed until 5 months, and I just couldn't do it. Like my body wasn't producing enough, despite what this lady said. I know my body, and I just knew that like my supply was not keeping up with her demand. So I chose just not to put myself through that anymore. So you have all of these you know, experiences, and that doesn't make you any less than because you don't choose to breastfeed for 5 years. Like I hate that narrative. So yes, if your child is hungry, you feed them any way you can. Like, yeah, breast is best, but if you're not making enough milk, what are you gonna do? You're just gonna let them starve it out. And unfortunately, that's what happened. I don't think she like knew. I mean, I don't know if she knew that those cries were hunger cries. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. I have to reread that article again, but that's what ended up happening. The baby ended up getting dehydrated and ended up passing away, and that's horrible. So I would just, I normally like rant on my videos, but I would just like love to hear from other people about this, because this attitude just really just gets on my damn nerves, and I don't know. Anyways, thanks for listening.